welcome. أهلا وسهلا فيكم بحلقة جديدة من Arabs in BizApps show. We're so excited to have the full stack of hosts today again for this episode, as well as an amazing guest, Majd Medina, who's joining us. Majd, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to learning
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sharafna. Such a pleasure being on your show, guys. Thank you very much.
شكرا.
Pleasure everyone.
أهلا وسهلا.
شرفنا بيكم.
نحن
احكي لنا شوي عن خلفيتك و how you arrived in the BizApps world.
Sure. I'm actually, not 100%. I'd say I'm maybe 30% in the BizApps world, but I love working with Dynamics and BizApps partners. So I've been in the Microsoft world طول حياتي, all my life. It's been now 22 years. So I was very lucky as soon as I actually...
Well, you look like you're 22 years. Yeah.
Yeah, فعلا 41 كل ده أبيض مش مع...
AJ, sorry, continue. I don't mean to interrupt you, but...
That's just past 22. طول حياتي كنت في العالم بتاع مايكروسوفت. I only actually escaped it for 1 year. Then I was back right away. And a lot of things happened within this 1 year that I left. The cloud started, but I've always been in the Microsoft world. So as I graduated from university from Nasrة here in Egypt, I joined Microsoft as a university hire. And then I was a product manager for security and management, and then for Windows Server Hyper-V. The cloud still hadn't started back then. And then I moved to more of a Middle East and Africa role where I managed, I was on the MIA team managing the M&As, the multinational accounts, which are HP and Dell and Intel and these giants. So this always was working directly with partners. So at first it was SMB, then it was global. And then in 2011, that was when I moved to Canada, and I always wanted to work directly with partners. I was blessed as well at that time to join SureWeb with an amazing team managing their partner network. And back then we were a hosted provider of Exchange. So we saw the whole rise of the cloud مع SureWeb, and we moved everything from hosted Exchange to Office 365. And we were the first, it was us and Ingram, the first tier 2 distributors in North America. This was a huge time to be with Microsoft World. And yes, it was a wonderful journey with SureWeb for several years. And then I moved to Toronto after Montreal. And that was where for 2 years I switched and I joined CompTIA, which is a wonderful network of also mostly MSPs and partners. And during my time at CompTIA for 2 years, I managed the Canadian community of MSPs and members, as well as the Australia and New Zealand. So this was when I first started. It was 2015. وبدأت the working from home journey where I work both with Canada and Australia, and my mind was split into 2 different regions. But yes, that was a wonderful also journey for 2 years. Then I went back to SureWeb for another few years. And then when COVID started and we all started working remote, that was when I decided, it's already too cold in Canada. And I decided to come back home to Egypt. But I've been working with partners ever since. I worked with another indirect provider called AppRiver OpenText. And throughout طول حياتي مع البارتنرز من وقت ما I went to Canada, I was doing one thing more than anything else, which is helping partners connect with the partner programs, attain the right access to the right programs, whether they were called silver and gold competencies. Now, of course, it's MAI CPP with the solution designations. And I've always been the guy that works with all of our partners on helping them plug into the right motions and really utilize these programs to master the incentives that come with them, the rebates, the investment funds, the co-op marketing funds, the money that almost all partners really leave behind, regardless of their size, right? There's always very smart programs that when you align with Microsoft, you generate access to leads, to better support, to all of these great benefits. Yeah.
Let us, لكن عم نحكي
how
تمام.
can we help the partners to see or to find their programs, correct? Like شو في programs نقدر نساعد فيهم partners. Programs can be from Microsoft or من حاجة تانية أو third party. As a
تمام.
partner, a new partner, what can I do? Like, should I contact a company? Should I contact Microsoft? What type of programs?
تمام. تمام. Yes.
يعني on the region that you're in, صح? Yeah, maybe like around the Middle East, in the MENA region that you focused, and because it could be a little bit different from region to region, and yeah,
Yes.
that'll be to everybody's benefit.
Absolutely. أنا actually دلوقتي بشتغل مع نورث أمريكا بس برضو يعني I've had great relations from the old days of Microsoft فكل فترة كده بشتغل مع بارتنر هنا في الريجن بس أنا معظم البارتنرز اللي بشتغل معاهم لسه في كندا ويو اس ويوروب بس الانسنتيفز كلها واحد. actually اللي انا شايفه انه البارتنرز اللي في النية حتى يمكن يكون عندهم علم اكتر من البارتنرز اللي في نورث امريكا when it comes to fully understanding العالم بتاع البادجز اللي هم كانوا اسمهم competencies دلوقتي اسمهم solution designations to activating كل الانسنتيفز علشان كل tier مع مايكروسوفت بيجي بباكج of benefits مختلفة that are always changing. فاللي أنا بقوله دايما للبارتنرز and what I always try to tell them is, and this is what I do actually right now just to quickly explain what I currently do, is I manage a company called Partner Guide. Just launched it last month because this is what we love to help partners with, and now we hold their hands and we help them navigate regardless of how large or small they are, because it's very, very confusing. But to bring it back to as simple as possible, every single partner needs to understand the language that Microsoft is speaking, which starts with the solution partner designations now. There's 6 different solution areas.
انت ترانسليتر between مايكروسوفت والبارتنرز. اغلي قبل لانه انا بتذكر انا كمان صار لي 20 سنه بالمايكروسوفت وورد، بتذكر انه كان في برونز وسيلفر وجولد بارتنر بريزيدنت كلوب اند اول ذس. هلا هيدا كله ما بقى موجود، هيدا كله راح وصار في عنا اشياء تانية. مزبوط
بالضبط. هو حصل له evolution صح؟ فكل
yes.
يعني أنا بلاقي partners كتيرة جدا لغاية دلوقتي لسه عندهم من على الويب سايت بتاعهم it says silver and gold. This went away.
marketing issue.
But
marketing.
yes, exactly. But what I always tell partners is if you see it beyond just marketing and you really understand the benefits they come with and you master them, then you get access to يعني علشان نبسطها or to make it simple, you get access to different groups of benefits. The first one is the internal use right licenses. You get, instead of buying your own licenses, you get access to internal use power. So دلوقتي there's 6 badges, right? And they will increase and they will actually change because Microsoft's motion is always changing, right? There's the modern work, partners اللي بيبيعوا, the partners that sell M365 solutions and Copilot for Microsoft 365 and these modern day work environment solutions. And then there's BizApps, which is the world I believe that we're in right now, right? And then there's 3 badges for Azure, whether you sell data and AI solutions or infrastructure, or you build digital apps like agents for AI, right? And then, of course, there is the badge that covers every aspect, which is the security badge, right? So depending on many certifications you have and how much business you sold, and it doesn't have to be, this is a very, very important tip that I love sharing with partners that they like. It doesn't have the business requirements to activating these badges, doesn't have to be licenses that you sold yourself. لو انت partner بتعمل implementation, you can also have your customers properly reflected على البارتنر سنتر account بتاعك so that you can get points towards your badge. This
is this in Sipor Dipor?
C4 D4 PAL exactly this is يعني دي ممكن نعمل لها سيشن لوحدها بس مهمة جدا 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 عشان ساعات بلاقي partners صغيرة I find small partners that didn't sell a lot of licenses and they tell me I still need to sell licenses, I have the certification requirements but I still it's too difficult to get the business requirements. And in many cases, if you have just one large customer and you do the right technical association, you get enough points to activate these badges. صح؟
مش ودي أسألك شيء.
اتفضل.
عرفنا عن Microsoft Frontier Partner يعني from FY26 that's all I hear. Just last year it was the get your solution partner designation, specialization, focus on
Yes.
that. بس السنة دي يعني everyone is talking about Frontier يعني the program, or is this just a
So
get on the forefront, especially as a small partner or a medium partner? What can you do? What should you do?
yeah, so there's several layers, right? So just to take a little step back, right? It's very important to go after the designation, even though right now Microsoft is allowing to give you CSP incentives and rebates just by having 25 points and not activating the badge. بس أنا بقول لكل البارتنرز and I've seen it out of a lot of success with partners that work together is if you actually activate the badge and you dive into the backend incentives that you get, and you also target going after specializations as a next step for like year one, this is where you really build a strategic roadmap with Microsoft, where not only do you get CSP rebates every single time you sell licenses, but you get access to very strategic programs that allow you to get money from Microsoft, especially if you're selling Azure and modern work solutions, where you get money just for delivering pilots for your customer. You get money and funding even for doing implementations, right? Especially for Azure. You get premium support where even Microsoft comes in and you build relations with technical delivery teams that implement the solutions on your behalf, right?
Can I ask you a question? When you say you get
yes.
money, is this directly money to the partner, or is this more like co-op funds تستعملها في marketing and so on?
Yeah.
Because I always get caught up on that. Yeah, and when I hear you get money to partners, it can be very different things. Khaled, I think you appreciate that. I see the smile on your face.
Of course. So
Exactly.
I think it's important to add the regional layer, because when we think of something like MDF, the development funds that are available, and Majd, please correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the companies, like if we look at a Jeffrey M or any company that's available 55 and 5, a few vendors, they're actually all focused on this market, on what Microsoft calls market A, and even the funding is actually bigger for market A. And so I think it's important to add this color that when we look at markets B and C, like when we're talking about EMEA, and probably actually more on the MEA side and MENA, it is more restrictive. And then a lot of the MDF, you can't actually spend meaningfully with vendors that are local to you or would understand the context that you're trying to sell in, because they simply don't exist.
Well, like I actually spoke to the largest MIA partners because you guys know Claytech, they're an indirect provider here. It's actually a very good friend of mine, Khaled Abdel-Qadir, who was the GM of Microsoft, as well as two other guys, Mahmoud, Mahgoub, and myself. The four of us, we sat together when Khaled left Microsoft Egypt and wanted to build an indirect provider. And we went through that whole program together. We spoke to the Microsoft CSP team and we got the license to become an IP. And I have been on and off working with that amazing team, but it was such a wonderful story for us to, sit together, think about building this. And within 6 months, alhamdulillah, we launched it and it was a great success. And so we started working with the largest partners in the region. And what I've learned is that over here in MIA, there's so much knowledge about the MCI engagements, even though they are not in market A, as well as the CSP incentives and the co-op funds. that partners don't sell to end customer the retail price. They actually compete together as to how much incentive opportunities they can extend to the end customer. And this is a tactic that I also love to bring into the US, and I've seen huge success for. Like, I have a partner that didn't have even the data and AI badge, and we worked together. They only had 2 customers, and they wanted to do data and AI. It's niche. There's Microsoft Fabric, there's Power BI, there's amazing technologies. And when we took a look at the roadmap for the programs, we realized that if you activate the SMB data and AI badge, then this gives you a stepping stone into this world of incentives, where every time you have an implementation, you can request up to $12,000 in funding in order to implement the solutions to your customers. And this is basically the analytics implementation funding of MCI engagements. But if you go after the specialization, even though it's a little bit painful, you need to have more people specialized with certifications, and you need to sit through an 8-hour audit. But if you go through a specialization, then every single time you have a discussion with a customer, all right, you can take up to $25,000 in pilot funding and up to $75,000 implementation funding. So that partner, and because it's a new badge that had just come up and Microsoft are excited to sell Microsoft Fabric, when we went and talked to Microsoft and we told them, hey, even though we're very small, we're very excited to going there because we want that $100,000 of funding. We feel it will really help us close deals with large customers, right? So Microsoft loved it so much, even though we were super small, that they even allowed us to sit through a training 8-hour audit for the specialization. And this really helped us prepare for the audit, right? And it was support. It was a free gift from Microsoft. So then when we sat through the 8-hour audit, we got the specialization. And then instead of marketing to small SMB clients, we started going after enterprises that would qualify for that $100K funding. And we went and we told them, hey, guys, we have $25,000 in pilot and $75K in implementation. We don't want any money from you as long as we want you to commit to activation. Of course, in year 1, in year 2, they'll have to pay for the licenses and everything because we won't be getting more funding. And then as a specialized partner, we started having this type of tone where we started going after large engagement, throwing money at customers, if you may say, in order to close deals and be very strategic.
Well,
Of course,
let's
Microsoft.
discuss the كلها is a specialization or solution partner designation or both. Like, what's the foundation to get these?
Yeah. So this is what strategic partners that have a PDM really, Microsoft holds their hand and walks them through these programs. But what we like to do at Partner Guide is become that virtual PDM for unmanaged partners and get them there, right? So it is a journey that you have to go through. You need to activate the badge. You need to be committed. You need to go after a specialization if you'd like to. And across this road, there's a lot of benefits. For example, if you have a specialization and a couple of badges, and you activate marketplace offers, and especially if you do a lot of them, then you will have better visibility. You can also go to these marketplace offers, whether they're on Azure or AppSource, and activate co-sell status. I don't guarantee that it's going to work and field sellers will be selling your product, but it's a very strong strategic roadmap because then when you have someone at Microsoft, بالذات في region MIA, where, you know, we can go and knock on Microsoft's door and say, hey, we have these offers, we have co-sell status active, we have a specialization, we want to work strategically with you, right? And then there's other programs as well that I'd like to keep as bonuses for, one-on-one engagements. But there are a lot of great programs according to what product you're selling, especially Copilot Studio, Power Apps, things like that, where you can become an official instructor to Microsoft. And these are global programs. They're EMEA, right? And Microsoft really fills the room for you. They bring you customers and you become more of a trainer. And then this, of course, generate leads and so on, right? So it's all about what you're trying to sell. Unfortunately for BizApps, to be clear, and since this is the BizApps environment, last year there were so many benefits that did not require specializations, right? This year, this benefit moved to Azure. For Azure, you don't need specializations to get access to funded engagements. But for BizApps, you need specializations in order to activate the strategic programs, like the envisioning workshops and POC funding for pilots and assessments in pre-sales, as well as for delivering immersion briefings, where you get like $2,000 for market A, I believe it's like $1,500 for market B, and so on, for delivering sessions around products like Business Central, for example. So that's the
As
programs
we're
are
wrapping
there.
up, guys, I wanted to talk about AJ's question really quickly because AJ asked about frontier firms
Yeah.
and what that means. And to me, it's really just more of a mindset shift to be that like customer zero. كان كتير بالconferences الماضيين عن كيف الشركات بيقدروا يكونوا متقدمين وبالإنجليزي بنحكي eat your own dog food.
Yeah.
There's not a good analog in
No, it could be an offensive analog.
ناكل الأكل اللي بنطبخه بس بطريقة يعني الشركات اللي
ظبطنا
هلا
اي جي
المايكروسوفت
خالد
partners they
ظبطنا
have to.
شوي
I need to
ظبطنا
Google
شوي
that. أنا مش عارف إيه Frontier program. It's
Frontier
always
firms though, actually
something
we
to
do
learn.
have a very good article about this on the NK site that I think could be helpful for folks. So I can link that in the comments to this episode. But I think essentially you just have to adopt an idea that we're going to be, if not at the bleeding edge, we can be at the leading edge, and we can be part of that movement to experiment and try out new solutions. And I think for companies in MIA, we've been talking about the competitive advantage in very creative ways, like you highlighted, that funding, use it to discount the clients. Shouldn't sound innovative, but is actually innovative
Yeah.
in the business environments that we're in.
Exactly.
Being innovative is also about the technology and also about being open to change and experimentation. I think that's really what's at the heart of being a frontier firm.
So Khaled, you guys talked a little bit about the money that's on the table to help lower the cost of the project. I'll tell you something interesting. So now I'm in 20 سنة. We're a Microsoft partner. We've been managed partner and so on at DSWI, and we think we know the partner program. Yeah. And we're a direct reseller, so we're all about the margins. We're all about the other bigger programs, the incentives, the migration promo. But for many years now, we have never done anything with the co-op funds. It's like a black box. ما نعرف عنه. We don't know كيف تستعمل يعني how you submit the things. So this year we set about to try to find out. But maybe it's going to be a little bit different from partner to partner. But I'll move the curtain, peel the curtain back, and I tell you, we found out لنا عندنا 30 أو 40 ألف دولار بس من the past 6
I
months.
see this all the time.
It's like we think our benefits are IURs, internal use rights licenses.
Exactly.
Every partner loves those. And we think about some of the other, time specific incentives, a Microsoft migration program, and so on. And that's wonderful. And we would know about these PI benefits, which don't apply to small business partners. For Business Central, they're more like F&O. We'd heard about marketing co-op funds, but we thought they're like, a little bit here and there. We're not benefiting. Okay, it's a little thing. 30,000, 40, it's not a small amount.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
Partner, that could make a big difference. So now we're trying to get that done, right? I think that's such an important thing.
That's it. And this is what I love, I love that you said that, because OnePath, for example, they're a huge partner in North America, and I worked with distributors. So, I used to oversee, at SureWeb, we used to have, when I was there, 6,000 active transacting partners and around more than 12,000 partners on our database. And everyone was confused, right? OnePath, for example, is a huge, huge partner. Once I was just having a casual conversation with them. I was like, okay, given your size and how large you are, I'm happy to offer you 1 hour so that we see how you spend your co-op funds. And they were like, what is co-op funds? And I was like, wow, can you share your screen and log in? And we realized that there was like 50K for the last 7 years, that every 6 months, Microsoft sends them the check and then takes it back, and they didn't even know it existed, right? And the stories are always there, right? Whether it's the co-op marketing funds or not claiming the engagements. This is the one that I see the most. Like, you do huge projects where, because you have the badge, you can go in and claim for doing these implementations. And this year, it's more than ever before. Microsoft is investing in Azure partners 70% more than what they did in the previous years. And they're opening it all up for partners that don't even require a specialization. So always happy to have these conversations and make sure, because this is money that, it's better for you guys to claim than for Microsoft to keep.
Oh, this
Absolutely.
was wonderful. I mean, just I think, well, between services like Khaled and Majd, I mean, what you guys provide, sometimes you go, why do I need somebody to help me maximize what I do as a partner? If we normally think as a business, we need somebody to help us sell more, and that's important. طبعا يعني أول أهميتنا increase the sales.
Yeah.
بس ثاني أهميتنا find out these hidden buckets of benefits that we should get, and benefits أكتر من like I said, internal use rights licenses, أشياء صغيرة اللي معروفة, but it's the hidden things that are just there waiting to be taken. And this is not like, yeah.
Exactly. They're huge sales strategies, right? As Microsoft says, partners that know how to use these, especially like specialization benefits, they close deals 85% faster than normal partners, right? This is always a Microsoft statistic that they share in the beginning of the year. If you've seen the MCAP session at the kickoff of this year, they were sharing it several times. Microsoft, like if I can have just one last closing remark, Microsoft this year reached 500,000 active partners. And
Wow.
how many partners have specializations and are taking full advantage of these benefits? 50,000. That's exactly 1% of the partner base, right? So there's, regardless of how large the partners are, right, there's always opportunities. And what I love to do is really make sure that partners not just claim the money for the sake of claiming it, but claim the money to close deals faster, to reinvest in their customers, and to go to markets in a more powerful and structured way, right? And then when you see the benefits of one badge, you start going after the second and the third. And when you have more, you get better visibility, closer alignment to Microsoft. And then you really, with time, reach that stage where you become a managed partner and Microsoft really sees you on their radar and gives you leads, right?
Great.
Yep.
This has been wonderful. This is such a fantastic conversation. I mean, I think this is one of the cool things that we're doing, not just in general for the community, but I think there's a lot of smaller boutique partners that are in the Middle Eastern owned community, Arabic speaking community, and I think it's wonderful that we're kind of highlighting these. And there's folks like you, Majd, and you, Khaled, that are there to help. That's wonderful. I'm glad we're doing this.
It's amazing. Thank you so much,
Right.
Majd, for joining us. شكرا جزيلا لأنه الconversation زي ما AJ حكى, it's very important, خصوصا for partners who may not have access to, honestly, the resources in Arabic also. A lot of the documentation is English only, and having access to folks like you is phenomenal, and having you in our community is a pleasure and an honor. So
No, it's my
AJ.
honor. Well,
Well, thank you to Claude who dropped off mysteriously.
So before we close out, I think, thank you very much. But if you're not a part of the WhatsApp group yet, folks, we do a lot of engagement over there. Khaled, do you want to tell the folks a little bit about the WhatsApp group that we have for the Arabs and BizApps, and how our potentially new community members who are seeing this podcast, how do they engage with us?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, AJ, for teeing that up. We have the WhatsApp. We actually now have the YouTube channel up and running again. We had some issues with the videos. Thank you to everyone who pointed that out. I'm glad that people were trying to engage with them, and hopefully you can now engage with them more. If you are interested in joining our WhatsApp, it's an open invite. We were saying on the last week's episode. Like, Yalla, everyone join us. Let us know in the comments if you'd like to join. We'd love to bring you in. We also have our page on LinkedIn, the Musawa page on LinkedIn. That will be a central hub, not just for the Arabs and BizApps, but all the other diversity and access-oriented programs that we're going to build. So thank you to both of you, and thank you to everyone who does engage with these podcasts and with the program as a whole. We're going to continue growing more and more in the new year, and there's still plenty of time. We have Summit, we have Directions EMEA, we have a lot of things coming
Our
up.
platform community conference.
And Convergence. I think we can now actually say publicly that Convergence is back, and I'm really excited.
Yes.
It is official, AJ. I was on the call yesterday.
لا من Microsoft or from Doug or another organization? Because
Microsoft
I
is
couldn't figure
leading
that.
it.
Okay.
And so I know Satish posted it this morning, so I'm not stealing Microsoft's thunder.
Yeah, no, I saw that online already. And by the way, على WhatsApp في كلمة سرية افتح يا سمسم or anything like that, or it's just يعني free for anybody.
يا سمسم احنا ممكن ان علي بابا بس مش ال40 حرامي.
40 partners أكثر من 40 partners إن شاء الله.
يلا الرقم الجديد للعالم العربي هو 1000 ليلة وليلة.
Nice.
ألف عدو وعدو كيف تقول يعني I forgot what is the word for member in Arabic in this
عدو.
context. عدو صح? Yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah. So ألف عدو وعدو.
Yeah, I was telling myself sometimes I have to think of words that I haven't thought of in a while. When we were talking with Ahmed, I had to remember تنمية المهارات وتنمية المواهب. Not something I think about very often.
خالد أقول لك I don't think even in the Middle East they use that. I think تستعملوا الكلمات بالإنجليزي يعني تحكي بالعربي والكلمات يعني all these technical words I think they just use English. I think we're worried about it more than they are. You know what I mean? Out there, our Middle Eastern peers, I think they're more comfortable with it than we understand. But it's a fun opportunity to catch up and improve our language skills as well. Much for us, the important thing here, I think this is forcing at least me to get back into touch with the Arabic language in a way that I haven't done it. Yeah. So it's a let's learn Arabic session again. So
absolutely. Thank you so much both. We'll see you everyone at the next episode. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye.